Hey, what's up guys? Mikas here for WeMakeDanceMusic.com. Today we're going to talk about creativity. Creativity is a very important part of what we all do as music producers or creators of any kind. And let's face it, creativity is not a simple process. It appears, disappears, comes and goes. You know, it's really hard to get the juice flowing, sometime, and we always wonder why, People that, like us, make a living off their craft, like either it is music, photography, videography or something, you struggle because it just doesn't come, and it's not that easy to make it happen, and then you ask yourself why. I think really one of the most important thing is to create the right circumstances for your creativity to come out. You have to have a process, you have to have a way that you sit. Like a lot of writers, they're like that. They go and they sit in front of the machine, they do it regularly, and whether or not they feel like it, they don't feel like it, they go for it. This is what we call in our creative industry being a pro. So when you are a pro, you set up to create. Whether or not you feel like it, there is no excuse. You have to create. This is your job. This is what you do. This is when you decide to step up from being an amateur, an hobbyist, to a professional, and this is really what you do. I think for me, one of the things that got always my juice flowing is repetition. So you have a process. So me, I have a process. When I create music, I start a template, I start with some beats, this is my thing. I start with some beats, start laying down some MIDI, do some work. I also did the piece last week about like how do I finish every song that I make. It's simple, is I have a process, and this process is all about creativity. So when I start something, either I finish it or I drop it. So one of the important things is to master that process that you have. Like process, it's all about doing things in order. You know that you have certain skills that always work, so you use these. Always use these. You have to know where to stop. So if you're working on a project, we're gonna talk about music because this is really what we're talking about here at WeMakeDanceMusic.com. So you have a process. So if after 15 minutes I work on a project, I get some beats late, but it's really not going anywhere, I would probably flush it and start another one if I have some more time on my hand. If not, well, then maybe I'm gonna keep on going with that project, but it really depends. So you have to master certain elements of your craft, which is making music. For us, is some people sound design, some people is going to be more engineering, some people are going to play with samples, they're going to chop and things like that. So you have to become an expert at those little things that you do. So if it is for me, I want to be an expert at creating bassline because I'm making tech house. Become an expert at creating bassline. Just go for it, hammer it, make some bassline all day non-stop until it just come out naturally. You just sit and it's like here you go, you get that fat bassline in. So I think after that you're able to do anything you want. Then you can, if you have one of the process really mastered, you can go into another process that would be maybe making some percussions, programming some drums, it could be recording vocals, could be working with other artists, doing collaboration and things like that. And that actually bring on to the second part of this creativity. It's collaboration. Directly collaborating with people is really going to get you juice flowing, and the juice is going to be different, because there's ego in the studio. You want to prove yourself to the other, you want to prove to yourself that you're good, and some people in the studio, they're more creative, some they're more passive. Personally, I go in the studio and I give everything I got. If I have a trick, if I have something, I put it out. I want to make music. There's no holding back. I think this is very important. And collaboration is one of the reasons why I created WeMakeDanceMusic.com, because simply, if I have a great idea, I put it up there, somebody's gonna take it, it's gonna take it somewhere. This is such a great starting point. It's so innovative. The templates or project files, they're so packed with cool ideas that could be used by other people. I think is the essence of creation. So there's also tutorials. And one of the things that is important about collaboration is synergy. This is where you really put both of the creative mind together, and the outcome will always be different. I'll give you a very good example of that is bands. A band that lose a member, the music change completely. You can do Pink Floyd without Sid Barrett, completely different deal. Try to do Coldplay without their guitarist. They don't want to take this part out because this is the essence of it. This is what create the sound. So it's the same thing for us. We want to collaborate, want to do things, bring some new ideas. Be open to collaborating in person, online, use any tools you can, but collaborate as much as you can. Get some stems from other people, work on it, go We Make Dance Music, pick up yourself project files. Collaboration is really, really key to being productive, being creative, really. So it's very important too. The third part of this is very important, to be focused. And to be focused today, it's very difficult. Okay, let's face it. We have our phones, we have the notification on the Mac coming out, everything, emails. It never really stops. So very important to completely disconnect. It might sound easy, but it isn't. It took me over a year and a half to be able to really disconnect completely, shut down email, shut down every notification, So if you do that, you're going to be able to have focus and maintain this focus. Because imagine you're in the middle of creating the track of your life, and then you get a text message, or you get a WhatsApp, phone call, anything, notification, money, check, whichever that is important. You just break your momentum completely. I mean, you really, really have to be focused. This is important. And you also have to find the time of the day where you are the most focused. The time of the day where you're the most focused could be the morning, could be the evening, could be at night. This is not important, but you have to find that time and hammer on it. If you're a professional creative and you do that for a living, maybe it's the morning, maybe it's the afternoon, maybe it's when your kid's sleeping, whichever. It's very important to find the right time and then capture these moments. When you focus, you can really have a great creative output. This is very, very important. So for me personally, I need some physical activities. I need to push myself. Either I run, I go to the gym, I go biking, I just go up for a walk, I have fresh air. This would really jack up my creativity. I have a certain level of clarity after a run. As an example, if I go run 5K, that is unattainable any other way. A lot of people know that on YouTube. This is really one of the key for me. Might not be for you. Maybe you want to sit and have a dozen donuts, to get your brain sugar up and be able to put the output into a track. If that worked, great. So be careful with your health though. Just saying, So the fourth point into creativity is really, you always have to be open to learning. I think as a music producer who's got now about 18 years of experience, who work on hundreds of tracks, who master, mix. I mean, I spent the last 12 years in the studio doing only this and creating wemixdancemusic.com. And you really have to be open. You try to find something. I personally watch tutorial from ADSR. I go on YouTube, try to find some tricks, try to invent some tricks. I still read some books. I get some ebooks. I get some audiobooks. This is really important. You never say that you achieve the top level. You're never going to be a master at everything. This is impossible. Maybe you're going to be a great composer, you're going to suck at mixing. Well, maybe you put some more work into mixing to make your composition sound even better, but there's always something to improve. It never going to stop. One of the trick that I personally have is to look for knowledge in fields that are not relevant to what you do. So if you're a music producer, maybe you want to study mathematics, maybe you want to do things like martial art, or it could be video production, it could be hairdressing as far as I know, but there's always knowledge, there's always technique that could be passed on. Everything is related in life. When you learn a skill, it will always translate into something. So mathematics for me was one of the things. If you think about the synthesis and sound design, ADSR, it is the same that they use to control the rocket ships and the satellite in space. I mean, mathematics, man, this is really important if you want to do, put the track on the grid, understand all the intricacy of the music, the frequencies and all of that. So for me, that was one of them. So the fifth point into our creativity lesson today is step out of your comfort zone. If you always make electro house, I really challenge you, make a classical track. I mean, at least try, do something. Go completely outside of your comfort zone. Go and collaborate with a rock band if you're an electronic musician. Those exchange created some of the best track we have. I mean, this is really, really, really key. So I personally, recently in the last 2 years, I started making ambient music with some orchestral piece, and from there I created a whole album, which actually became one of my best album of all time. It's called Explorers. It's very completely different. I used to make progressive house and trance and techie, prog and things like that. And I made a complete album that was electronica, stringy, and I totally stepped out of my comfort zone. And the result was really, really nice. With electronica, yes, there's a little bit of electronic music into it, but mainly it is, yeah, it's ambient, orchestral. I don't even know. It's hard to define. Electronica, I guess. So, and film score. So to do something like that, maybe I give you another example that could be good for you guys out there. You know, if you usually, you know, make some deep house, download yourself a drum and bass kit, you know, just try to work on a track, do something. When you're gonna go back to your original element, you have learned so much, you would have gained so much knowledge that you can apply. I mean, this is super, super, super key. So to sum up, like this little vlog, I think some people say that you cannot, you know, create creativity. I beg to differ. I think you can create the best ambience, you know, the best setup, the best frame of mind to do this. You know, you sit at your studio, you say to yourself, this is what I do for a living, I need to create. You know, maybe it's gonna be good, maybe you're gonna have only 2 times out of 10 it's gonna be a bomb, but the 8 other time you would have created something. And this process, if you keep on repeating, you're gonna see it's gonna be 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, and 10 times out of 10 you're gonna create something that is worthy. You know, we cannot offer as creator to not have a creative output. I need to do it. I run a website, I need to make some music, I need to give things to my fan and people. And you know, if you need 3 cups of coffee, if you need some donuts, like I said earlier, whatever you need, take it, do it. You know, make your little step that give you that little juice that you need to go for it and create. So that's it for me, guys. If you're still watching, I invite everybody to check out my website, wemakdancemusic.com. Got 6,000 products for music production. If you use my name, Mikas, M-I-K-S, you're gonna get half price on anything you buy just for one time. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and until next time, may the sounds be with you.